Continuously variable transmissions, or CVT, seem to be the drive system of choice for most new utility ATVs. Now, these clutches come balanced to the machine right from the factory, but if you plan on changing this balance, it could end up hurting performance. One of the biggest changes to this balance is the addition of bigger, more aggressive tires, and this can really change how the ATV performs. Dalton Industries sent us one of their ATV clutch kits to help compensate for oversized tires, which should really help this DSK700 once we get the big Gahoobers back on. The toughest part of this job is sometimes just getting to the clutches themselves. They're usually buried behind body plastics, a footwell, and a cover, so that stuff will need to be removed first. There's quite a few different fasteners here, so be careful not to lose any. With the cover finally off, you'll need to undo the drive belt. Beginning with the secondary on this Articat, it has a threaded hole to help spread the two sheaths in order to pull the belt over the clutch. Next, you'll need an impact gun to break loose the 17mm bolt holding the secondary on the transmission input shaft. With that off, the clutch can be taken out and brought over to the bench for service. This is the only part of the job that requires a special tool. If you don't have the right secondary compressor, you may want to head to your dealership to have this part of the job done. With the clutch tightened in place, the lock nut needs to be loosened off. There's a spanner for the job, but a light tap with a chisel will do in a pinch. Now you'll be able to release the pressure on the stock spring. Remove it and slide the new one over provided in the Dalton kit. The spring retainer will have to be rotated about 90 degrees counterclockwise to properly engage the flats on the clutch spindle. Then with a touch of Loctite, tighten the locking nut down. Back at the ATV, the secondary can be installed on the transmission shaft using an impact wrench to tighten the nut. Now the primary can be removed. Start by loosening the clutch support's main bearing nut, then the bolts holding the support itself. The movable sheath is now ready to come off, but make sure you hold the slide plate in place as you do so. On a level surface, the slide plate can be taken off to get at the 8 roller weights underneath. New metal inserts need to be installed in the stock bushings, so each will need to be tapped out by using 2 sockets. To install the new lighter inserts, carefully use a bench vise to press them in. Each will also have to be centered in the plastic bushing, so use the socket again to tap them to the middle. With the slide plate back on, the primary can be reassembled on the ATV. Then the belt can be routed over the primary. Make sure you do this before the bearing support goes back on. Tighten everything up, run the belt over the secondary, and this part of the job is done. Now comes the exterior assembly. Now this is all pretty easy, but it is important to remember that this seal on the clutch cover needs to be installed properly, because if it isn't, the next time you're in the water hole, you'll know about it.